Hi everyone, massive warm welcome to today's Monday Rapid Fire. Apologies getting this to you a little bit late. I had a long weekend down the coast and recharged the batteries, getting some sea air. It was absolutely phenomenal. So just cracking back in today and everything looks absolutely superb. But I am going to pour a little bit of cold water on some of the exuberance as we head into this six-digit psychological resistance level. So I want to bring us straight into this chart here. Back when we were looking at this consolidation for 6 or 7 months, where people started to lose faith and lose hope, we had forecast out if we were to break up, which was cyclically, historically very normal at this point of time, around the election, that these levels above, based on the Fibonacci extension, would be the areas we'd be looking to de-risk fairly strongly as we began to move up, or at least they were just anchors that we could aim to where we expected some resistance to come in because we're in clear skies above. So all we have to really go on is those psychological numbers, the levels that might come with Fibonacci extensions, all that. So that's where we're approaching now. And sometimes you can lose sight of that unless you've pre-planned it. And when you're in the moment like where we are now, you'd be forgiven for saying, oh, we're going to 100, 120, 150 now versus, what it was like back when you were in the 70,000. You wished for these levels and you thought, geez, if I got to these levels, I'd really, shave some profit off, move it into, altcoins and do this and that. So I just want to bring us all back to a little bit of reality because we're moving through these key resistance levels at the moment. We could rip through, high 90s and go to 100, but we never do with those serious levels. I mean, again, it could be that, everyone's sidelined here and, we just get flying just like crazy. Again, just rips through, the FOMO kicks in, which would be phenomenal. We could bump above 100. Then we have the flush to the downside. My view here is though, guys, it's going to get very, very hairy as we begin to climb up to the 90s, 95, 96, 97. And I think 97, front running the 100 is probably where we maybe spike into and a lot of supply gets unlocked and we have that thrust back downwards. Make no mistake, we are going to get a derivative flush. We're going to get just that leverage whack where everyone goes, long and expecting this to just keep going higher. It always happens. And we're going to get the crushing move to the downside. Now, I do not expect us to go lower than our breakout or all-time high. We never have historically. There's always a first time for everything. But I think the support levels in those regions, the breakout of the all-time high, buyers are just going to come in and eat it all up. This is a short-term phenomenon, but I'm just advising some soberness, some caution in these regions because here open interest is the highest levels they have ever been. And it's spiking, it's a crazy buggery. So wouldn't be surprised to see, a bit of a long wipeout and a short wipeout. And then what's left over, we start to climb up organically again above 100,000. So look, this is a very exciting time in the market and no one knows exactly what's going to happen, but that's just my feeling as we approach these areas. FOMO is probably going to kick in. Also, really don't like that meme coins are just popping off the tree at the moment because that generally marks a local top. And we're really seeing that FOMO. We're seeing the positioning move from assets like Solana and Sui and others. Like they're holding their ground really well. Solana's moving higher, Sui's holding its ground. But other larger coins, there's not a lot of capital and liquidity moving to them. Capital's just flowing to meme coins because they want to make a cheap buck. So people are feeling the FOMO, they're moving in, and it's getting pretty frothy. And whenever that happens, the oxygen is about to get sucked right out of the altcoins and going into Bitcoin. It's either going to rip to the upside, and we're going to really test out those levels above, or we're going to roll over here. But this breakout chart is a thing of beauty. It's the broader trend is really kicking in. I can really see something like this happening where we move into these high areas and then we can move up higher, sure. But what I'm my hypothesis, my thesis is get very cautious, rotate a little bit out. This isn't the end of the bull market by any means. I'm just saying a local high is probably coming and then we'll have the dip, pretty vicious, bull market dip can be up to 10, 20, 30%, even 50% that we've seen in previous bull markets. So that could be on the table based on how consequential the 100,000 level is. I just think this area is ripe for just buggery left and right. But what we could see here is a slower grind up higher. So we keep moving higher. We have the volatility downside, back up, volatility. But what we see is the price grinding higher while the momentum on the RSI actually gets lower. And we're seeing a bearish divergence begin to play out. And then we have the larger correction back down to the low 80s, maybe high 70s, where we can see everything just get flushed out where we move higher again. So the weekly chart getting a little bit hairy up above 70, 75. That's where you want to take a little bit of notice. Also the Stochastic RSI about to roll over. So yes, please get pay attention. Don't just think that this is just going to go up only. I could be wrong, but having been around a few of these cycles in a bull market, especially, the volatility is extreme to the downside. It's going to try and shake you out of your bags. And I guess it's just really, really important to monitor the pairs and see where you're at. Solana looks really strong. With the masterminds, I went through a lot of talking points about Bitcoin dominance, where I see that sit, FBTC, where to next. What else did I go through? Yeah, I mentioned Ethereum, Sui. So I think Solana looks way better than Sui at the moment. I think Sui, while looks incredible, there is the potential here for a little bit of a pullback, both holding their ground against Bitcoin. So I'm not too perturbed about that. I think they're both going to climb pretty strongly here. But bear in mind that Solana's having its real move here because of a lot of the meme coin craziness that's happening on Solana. We saw it earlier in the year. When that craziness gets wiped and liquidated, the Solana move up is a bit muted, but we have that underpinning anchor now of Solana up on the right because of the potential ETF, likely in the United States. And also wanted to share with you guys just some macro here, which I just shared with the masterminds, which I'll go into just very, very high level. I think a potential roadblock for crypto coming up, and again, a potential downside risk here back to those 80,000, high 70,000 level, is a bit of a surprise from the Fed. Potentially they keep rates on hold in December. I'm already seeing a fair percentage point come in for that eventuality. At current 34.7%. These can fluctuate quite aggressively into the events, but we're seeing the dollar not playing ball. It's just rising higher, which indicates that they're not going to cut rates. Also, we're seeing the 10-year, the 2-year, 3-year, all the yields are just really hovering really high and climbing higher, which indicates that the bond market is calling BS on the Fed, that inflation's not going anywhere. It's also saying that the Trump presidency coming in is going to be inflationary. It is going to increase debt. So why are we need to be incentivized at a higher rate of yield if we're going to own this debt? And that's where I see the market. So we're not quite in the Goldilocks zone for everything just going absolutely bananas. We could still go through it and not really worry about any of this stuff, but of late, when the dollar's moving higher and yields are moving higher, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin stocks and the rest feel a little bit of that pain, which I think we are moving into. And in time-wise, I think it makes sense on the 18th of December, the Bitcoin and liquidity is going to kind of front run that. So I think liquidities, and I even saw Jamie Coots from Real Vision as well say that the M2 rise has just stalled a little bit. It's not over by any means, but it's just everything's contracting a little bit. And I think because there's concerns that inflation is being sticky and hanging around. Also wanted to make mention before I sign off, guys, congratulations to the 5 new masterminds that are coming up to the next level. Can't wait to get started. And if any graduates or VIPs are watching this, we go into much more depth than this and give you that full 360 vision of where we sit. And also I'll give you that one-on-one support with Joe, myself and the team with one-on-one calls and also portfolio management weightings. And also that essentially 24/7 support in the Discord as well. So hope you have a wonderful day, everyone, and enjoyed this Monday market update. I'm going against the trend a little bit here and advising a little bit of caution, but I think we have to be a bit sober. And I know with I had a massive win, and maybe some of the graduates saw with Peanut, made 6 figures off a meme coin with a very modest investment. It wasn't big at all, but just when it feels easy like that and you're making ridiculous amounts of money from vaporware, essentially, you have to kind of check yourself. And I blow my own trumpet a little bit. I essentially sold the top, but it was almost a great exercise in execution of exercising the take profit muscle and identifying the FOMO in the market. Taking profit all through 2.3, 2.4, and just taking percentages off. I could see how hot it was, and everyone felt like, and even internally, I'm like, well, this could go to 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion. Everyone's saying it's the next whiff and all that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of hearing that going, now's the time to sell into that strength. And you can maintain a certain percentage of the crypto in your portfolio, but just try and trim it back and sell into that euphoria wave. It was like the taxi test. We've got to get used to that mindset, because the bull market is incredibly difficult on your psyche, on your mind, if you're not trained to identify the swings in the taxi test and the sentiment. You see people message you about, and I'm getting more text messages now, so I know retail's coming back. But with meme coins, you just have to remember as well that there's a saturation of these coins, and liquidity just falling one to the next, looking for those 5 to 10x pumps. And when it's done, they'll sell into it, and you don't want to be holding the bags all the way to the end thinking it's just going to rebound. That's when you want to have your technicals lining up, or your thesis. It needs to be ultra short term. You need to identify those swings of FOMO and get out if you're looking to short term trade. It's not overly enjoyable, but it can reap incredible rewards. And I certainly had a really nice long weekend knowing that I locked in that kind of win for the year. So guys, hope you had a wonderful day and enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed the new audio quality. I've got this brand new microphone here, which is an absolute ripper. So I hope you enjoy this session. We'll catch up soon. Leave me any messages in the Discord, and we can obviously get to it. I'm very, very busy with the mastermind at the moment, so apologies for anyone that's been tagging me in things to look at and whatnot. I am seeing them, I am reading them, and I'm trying to get to them the best I can. But yes, I really hope that the Discord group can lean on each other, and that's what it's there for, the graduates group. to chime in and whatnot, not for me to jump in all the time, because my priority is the mastermind. So just want to set the expectations there as well, guys. All right, have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you again soon. Bye-bye.